Welcome to ES3N.
And that's a great picture, by the way.
Bold tie right there.
Give me a bold statement about the Washington Commanders.
Oh, man, I tell you what, Greeny, the Washington Commanders has the best quarterback in the NFC East and possibly in the league. I think he's going to be the NFL MVP.
Wow.
I think he's just getting warmed up. He's going to be dynamic. The closest thing to Lamar Jackson since Lamar Jackson.
I love the take. I could easily see it happen. I am fascinated to watch his second year. Let's stay in the division. Give me a bold statement about the Cowboys.
Well, you talk about them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Marty Schottenheimer, I think we're going to have some Marty Ball 2.0 with his son, Brian. I think they're going to go to the playoffs and surprise a lot of people. A lot of times they always underwhelm when they have high expectations. No expectations this year. I think you should pick them. I might boost that bet.
We are 2 for 2. I am with you on both of those. Let's check the last one. How about Jim Harbaugh's LA Chargers? What do you got on them?
I tell you what a division with 4 Hall of Fame coaches. And I think that right now, I think that Jim Harbaugh is building a bully, much like he did in San Francisco. You look at, I think we're looking at Philadelphia West right here. You talk about Mekhi Becton, you talk about Joe Alt on the outside, Slater. I think they're going to have one of the most dynamic offensive lines. They're going to run the ball. I think they're better. They're going to be a better version of the Philadelphia Eagles because they have the better quarterback.
In Justin Herbert. See, that's a really interesting take. You know what's fascinating is last week, I forget who it was, someone will remember it, someone was predicting that this is the year that Kansas City gets bumped off in the division, and I assumed they were going to say Chargers, and they said Denver is going to win it. So all of a sudden, listen, one of the reasons, Mike T, cover your ears, one of the reasons that Tom Brady won as many championships as he did was because he dominated generally bad divisions for almost 2 decades in the AFC East. I apologize, Mike, because you were the GM of 2 of those teams, but between the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bills, who were bad for a lot of those years. Mahomes has been able to do the same thing. He's had the luxury of a bad division. You bank wins, you get home playoff games. That right now might be the best division in the entire league.
And yet I've been hearing the same thing about the Chargers since they were in San Diego, Los Angeles.
But they got the right coach this time, Peter.
Sure. Guess what? They had the right coach last year. They lost both times. I just can't do the Chargers thing every June, every July. I've done it. I've been a part of it. That logo, for whatever reason, we always say, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. It wasn't the year last year. They lost in the playoffs in the wild card round after being up 100 points. Again, that's what they do. I can't dethrone the Chiefs on paper just because they added another player or they added another thing or they've got the best strength coach or Jesse Minter's the best. I can't do it every year, guys. I'm sorry. I like the Chargers. I do. I think it's a pretty logo and everything, and he's a tough coach. The Chiefs are the Chiefs, and until they lose, I can't just give them the credit.
Yeah, Greeny, the Chiefs are going to be a lot better. You know, last year they were 24th in yards per pass attempt, which is a great indice about their explosion. When you think about getting Josh Simmons, you do the draft. He's a great left tackle if he's healthy.
It's a steal.
Yeah, and you think about Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Rashid Rice pending suspension. They are going to be a lot more explosive than they've been. So you give me speed on the outside and protection for Patrick Mahomes, I'm going with the Chiefs.
This is not about questioning the Chiefs in any way. The last thing on the earth I'm doing is questioning Mahomes and Reed and all of those guys. And I agree. Their offensive line will get better if only because it can't get worse. But the division is unquestionably getting better. Denver made the playoffs last year. They've got the right coach and a good young quarterback.
3 teams made the playoffs last year.
Last season from that. And the Raiders will get better. Another one that has nowhere to go but up, but they'll get better. They got people in charge now who know what they're doing. Whether Kansas City, here's what I guess I'm trying to say. Whether they win the division or not, I think it is a much harder road. So instead of going 6-0 in the division, now all of a sudden you're 4-2, and all of a sudden you don't have home field advantage in the playoffs. It just gets harder each step of the way. Now they've proven they can go into Buffalo and win. They can go places and win. I'm not picking against them, but what I am saying is I think their path got a lot tougher in the last year or two.
They are 35-5 against the NFC West with Mahomes. That's insane. That's incredible.
You can kiss the ring all you want. I understand what you're doing. I understand. Listen, the Kansas City Chiefs got a lot better. Last year was supposed to be a rebuild year. They got to the Super Bowl. But you have to acknowledge that they have great coaches within that division that knows how to win and knows how to build their program. And Harbaugh, no matter where he's gone, has been successful and has been a winner. Last year was the first year of his program. He hasn't brought in the personnel that he has. Now he's starting to sculpt this team in his likeness. And he's the type of guy that builds teams, that takes teams that throw the ball and have good quarterbacks, and he takes them to deep water and he drowns them. And I think the physicality that what he's trying to build is he's trying to build a bully, and we saw Philadelphia do that all the way to the Super Bowl.
So you've got the Chargers winning that division this year.
I didn't go that far, Green.
Okay,
No, I'm just playing. No, I do. Listen,
You do. If they're Philadelphia, they're going to win the division.
Either them or Denver. Like, they were in some very tough games with them last year. When you can play that type of defense, you got to win ugly.
And Denver got the better of Kansas City. They had them until that missed extra point. That
Also, now you're all in on Denver. How long are we going to wait for Denver?
Agreed. Don't forget that the leap that quarterback's taken their second year, Bo Nix, with an offseason with Sean Payton, that will even look a lot better.
That's the point. So maybe Buffalo has the easier path in their division than Kansas City does. Maybe that matters. Maybe with Mahomes, it doesn't make any difference anyway. As we continue, much as any place, he is dissected probably in a different way than practically any other quarterback, to the point that I think sometimes we understate how good he is. The return of Dak Prescott, A, put him right in the comeback player of the year conversation. B, to me, put the Cowboys directly back in the playoffs.
And with the star on his helmet and with the price tag of Dak Prescott, the bar has to be so high this season, and that is the standard. So to me, comeback player of the year, yes, he's coming back from an injury, but if they go 10-7 or 9-8, they're not going to give him that award, and they're certainly not going to give him MVP. Dak Prescott, to me, needs to go like 14-3 for the voters to be like, well, he came back from the injury and then did that. I think we all expect Dak Prescott to be back because of what he makes and because of his career already. I would look less at Aiden Hutchinson or Dak Prescott. I would look at the guys that come out of nowhere and have the big bounce back season like Joe Flacco had 2 years ago or Sam Darnold had a year ago. I believe Daniel Jones is more of a comeback player of the year candidate than Dak Prescott, who, although it is a real injury, we've seen lots of players come back from that injury. It would have to be this monstrous statistical season. I don't know if that's what he's
Can I say this? Because you said that yesterday as well, and I spent some time thinking about it, and I understand your rationale because that is how they handle the award. But what is he coming back from?
Irrelevance.
He's coming back from getting benched for being healthy, right? He was benched to make sure he didn't get hurt, and now he's coming back from not being hurt with the Giants. Dak Prescott is coming back from a season-ending surgery. I understand what you're saying.
The definition of that award is, let's have it make it be then the comeback player from injury.
We need something.
Something, because comeback player is Daniel Jones being discarded, third quarterback in Minnesota, then leading the Colts to the play. That's what I'm looking for.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing.
A lot of guys come back from injuries.
I don't know if that qualifies.
That said, Dak Prescott, the words on the screen are scorched earth. That might be strong. I used that term about Aaron Rodgers when he said, look how well that worked out for the Jets. but he doesn't have to go scorched earth. He just has to be what he has been in his career, and this team's a playoff team.
Yeah, I think there's a nuance here. I think both things can be true, Greedy. I think he's going to play well. I don't think he'll be the comeback player of the year because I think what we know with Brian, when he's not Greek dancing, he's trying to run the ball. And they're going to be very balanced in offense. That's really his DNA going back to his dad. That's when we've had the most success together. I think he's going to be a really good coach. I think they're going to be a little bit more conservative, and I think you're going to see 20 rushing attempts, 20 passing attempts.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb on the outside because you want to run the ball all the time?
Totally fair, Greedy. They'll be point scorers. I think Pickens is going to have a massive year. When you acquire, especially a wide receiver in the last year of his deal, he'll play well. But I just think fundamentally, their defense is still very much a work in progress. Running the ball keeps that vulnerability on the sideline.
But you don't think Marty Ball 2.0 can evolve a little bit and kind of add a little nuance to it?
And that's it for today's episode on ES3N. We're not just here to entertain. We're here to add value. Whether it's a new perspective on the game, a deeper look into an athlete's mindset, or a moment that made you think, this is the kind of content that stays with you after the final whistle. Sports teach us more than just how to win. They teach us patience, discipline, how to lose with grace and come back stronger. And that's the message we're building here together. So if today's video gave you something real, something to take into your next workout, your next challenge, or even just your day, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Not for the algorithm, but because we're building a community that gets it. Thanks for being part of this. Keep learning, keep leveling up. And as always, this is ES3N signing off with gratitude and grind.
Want to turn your knitting into a business? I'll show you how.
Thanks for watching. You're tuned into the ES3N network. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a drop. Got thoughts or theories? Drop them in the comments. We read them all. Share this video to help keep important stories alive. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, there's always more to the story. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. But stay tuned. Coming up next, I'll be adding even more value by showing you exactly how to get started with your knitting journey.